This pastor right here is speaking on how everything that is taking place with Iran right now is actually biblical. Okay, let me show you guys what he's talking about.
Look, Elam it's actually Iran. I want y'all to hear me. Elam was an ancient civilization located in what is now, I want y'all to say it with me, Iran. That's what it is. And the capital of Elam was Susa. The name, just so y'all know, the name wasn't changed till later on, but this is the same city where the book of Esther takes place, the same region where the prophet Daniel had his vision. This isn't some obscure, disconnected territory. This is Iran. The Bible literally is naming the land that is being bombed right now. But we got to go ahead and keep reading. Let's go ahead and get into verse 35 right here. Let's go ahead and get into that. And it says, I'm gonna move it up some. Thus said the Lord of hosts, behold, I will break the bow of Elam, the mainstay of their might. Do y'all see that right there? The mainstay of their might, the bow of Elam. Listen, I want to explain something to you. In the ancient world, Elam was famous for its archers, their military power. God says, I'm going to break the mainstay of their might, their military strength. Does that sound familiar to what's happening right now? Do y'all see that? Does it sound familiar? Let's move on, because I don't want to stay there. All right. And verse 36, and I will bring upon Elam the four winds from the four quarters of heaven, and I will scatter them to all the winds. Let's move that up some, to all the winds, and there shall be no nation to which those driven out of Elam shall not come. Now, there's a lot that's going on here as well that I want to make sure that I give you. God says judgment is coming from every direction. Do y'all see that? The four winds from the four quarters of heaven. And I want y'all to look at what's happening. Strikes from Israel in the west. You got U.S. forces from the Gulf in the south. You got coalition allies from multiple directions. The four winds. All directions, they're getting attacked.
So I asked ChatGPT, how many countries are attacking Iran right now currently, or at least somewhat involved in this war? Okay, and it says that number one, countries directly attacking Iran is the United States and Israel. And then it says Iran attacking or striking back at other countries, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Qatar, UAE, Kuwait, Jordan, Iraq, and Oman. Three other groups involved in the war: Hezbollah, Iran-aligned militias, countries under tension but not officially at war: Azerbaijan, Turkey, and Western allies like Canada and the UK supporting the US, Israel diplomatically. Okay, so as the pastor said, there is a lot of countries on multiple sides of the earth that are against Iran right now. Some of them have not officially entered into the war, but they are under tension. Things are looking like what he's saying may be true, and the Bible is proving that things are heating up.
Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today we have about a pretty, probably like the same size length as the last video, but there are some clips in here that are longer to sit through. So we will have like clips that's like 4 minutes, 5 minutes long. So I ain't gonna hold you. I'm gonna go ahead and get this party started. So go get whatever you need to chill with me. My hair just got stuck on my lips. And let's get to the content, y'all. So without any further ado, let's go.
TVs, cell phones, newspapers, radios, they all say that America went to war with Iran because they have nuclear weapons. No. The nuclear weapons they are speaking about is the giants. You ain't know Iran had giants? I'm not talking about ancient stories. I'm talking about giants in 2026. This video is about to get a little dark and a little deep. Stay with me. You do know that Iran is really Persia. Remember the Trojan horse? Remember the story of David and Goliath? David was fighting a giant. How many mountains have you seen that look like giants? Every spiritual war that took place with these giants, it was fought on the mountains. They say that there are giants that's locked away inside of these mountains. You ever notice the Paramount Mountain, 22 stars? Those 22 stars represents the 22 fallen angels. Yes, the fallen angels are really stars. USA is not over there fighting for nuclear weapons. They're fighting these giants. We are really fighting an ancient spiritual war up in the heavens and on this planet. These giants are now loose, but they can't come out on TV and say there are evil giants that's running loose. Project Disclosure. The anagram for disclosure is lies course, meaning their lies ran their course. Everything is about to be shown to the public. Let's break down the ancient history of Iran or Persia. It represents the cosmic battle of good and evil. They call the giants the divs, Zaha and the serpents on his shoulders. The snakes must eat human brains every day to survive. Jamshid, the cup that sees the universe. Dragons and serpents. Rostan, the superhuman hero, the ones that fight the demonic giants. These giants really do exist, but Hollywood put it inside of these movies to make you believe it's just fantasy. It's not fantasy. Every ancient battle with these giants took place on the mountains because the mountains represents the gateway between heaven and earth. David and Goliath is a real story, but every time a superhuman killed one of these giants, the evil spirit from these giants get to roam the world, and that's what's happening right now.
I don't know. I put it out there for y'all to discuss. I don't know. I'm not saying that there isn't excuse me, I'm not saying that there isn't like giants. I believe that there's all of that stuff. But I don't know.
Make no mistake, if there is a drone attack in California, we 100%, and when I say we, I mean them, and when I say them, you know who I'm talking about, we let it happen. If there's an attack on the West Coast, without a shadow of a doubt, they let it happen. A lot of you are too young to remember what the days and years after 9/11 were like. A lot of the same stuff they keep saying is going to happen, or threats that are being made, the same things and threats that they said were going to happen around the early 2000s. Every time I talk about stuff like this, I always repeat the same sentiment. It's fear-mongering. They want you scared. They want you complacent. Do I know whether or not something's going to happen? No. Do I think that something's going to happen? Also no.
I agree with majority of what he says. Do I think something's going to happen? I don't put nothing past the whole entire situation. So I'm not going to sit here and say yes. I'm not going to sit here and say no. But I do know that this is the beginning of whatever the heck they got going on. And I don't doubt it if it does happen. But if it does, they definitely let it happen. If y'all catching on.
Ayatollah Khamenei is dead.
After assassinating the supreme leader of Iran, Trump told the Iranian people,
When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take.
but will it? Has the US and Israel's war on Iran made a total regime change a viable possibility? Or has it actually pushed reform further out of the Iranian people's reach? When you hear the Iranian government, it's easy to only really think about the now late supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. And it's kind of understandable. He was the head of the judiciary, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. He had final decision-making power over the entire government, and he had ruled Iran with an iron fist for nearly 40 years. Before the US attacked, dissent towards him was also growing. Social restrictions were getting tighter, people's quality of life was getting worse, and last year, massive protests broke out, which the government could only really suppress via violent crackdowns, killing upwards of 20,000 people. Things looked like they were on a knife's edge, so when Khamenei was killed, some assumed
The mothership of terrorism is sinking. The captain is dead.
This is not a so-called regime change war, but the regime sure did change.
But Iranian politics is so much bigger than just the supreme leader.
The system in Iran consists of interlocking institutions that reinforce each other. And if there is a gap in one, other institutions can fill in that gap.
And one of the biggest institutions is the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps, a second extremely powerful military specifically dedicated to maintaining the regime's control.
It has its tentacles on all aspects of the Iranian life. I mean, they are in politics, they are in the economy, they are in social activities.
The recent protests in Iran were truly massive, some of the biggest since the 1979 revolution, where the people actually did succeed in changing the regime and throwing out the monarchical Shah. So why couldn't they do it this time?
One of the factors which helped the opposition against the former Shah of Iran was that there was defection on the part of the security forces to the opposition.
But the IRGC doesn't seem likely to do that.
There are no defections. There's no sign of anyone leaving the regime.
Not only is the Revolutionary Guard ideologically dedicated to the regime, they're also financially intertwined.
IRGC runs its own businesses and corporations. They make money out of the regime. Why would they give up on their material interests in addition to the ideological commitment for something that would undermine their own prosperity?
The IRGC and other armed forces also have an almost total monopoly on the weaponry in the country. The US and Israel taking out the leader of the government didn't change that. The protesters still only have their bare hands.
As the situation stands, the regime is likely to survive unless the Americans decide to send ground troops and basically engage an invasion of Iran, and even then, there is no guarantee.
So I split it in half because it is a long video, so we're going to go to the next part. But I really do feel like they really underestimated their opponent. And I feel like, you know how a person like be so big-headed and so like in the clouds that you don't really like look at the actual facts before you make your move. So in retrospect, you don't make your next move your best move. Is basically what I feel like this whole entire fiasco is. It is. It was not a smart decision.
In the case of Iraq, they secured the overthrow of Saddam Hussein's regime, but then everything else fell apart.
But look, perhaps total regime change isn't the only option for improving the lives of the Iranian people. If the regime isn't going to fall, could it at least reform?
I guess the worst case would be we do this and then somebody takes over who's as bad as the previous person, right?
Remember when I said that the Iranian government was far bigger than just the supreme leader? Well, that also means they had systems and plans in place in the event of his death. Not just because of the rising tensions between Iran and the West, but also because Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was 86. So almost immediately after Khamenei's death, senior leadership swung into action, forming a temporary 3-person council to essentially do the supreme leader's job until a different group known as the Assembly of Experts could gather and vote for his successor.
There are different factions within the Iranian system. You've got the hardliners, and you've got the moderates, and you've got the pragmatists.
In fairness, although the assembly is elected by the Iranian people, the supreme leader had significant influence over which candidates the people could vote for. So a successor from Khamenei's hardline camp was always pretty likely. But even so, this wasn't just a regular transfer of power anymore. This wasn't an elderly man peacefully passing away. This was an attack. This was war.
A wartime decision-making doesn't really lend itself to taking the middle road, the middle option, or showing moderation, because all of that is seen as weakness. Iran has to show strength.
And who did the assembly pick to continue Khamenei's hardline legacy? Well, Khamenei. Mojtaba Khamenei, that is, the former Supreme Leader's second eldest son. At first glance, this might seem like an odd choice. I mean, wasn't the whole point of the 1979 revolution to get rid of hereditary dynasties? But here's the thing, Mojtaba is also a very close ally and strong supporter of the IRGC. And experts generally agree that behind the scenes, the Revolutionary Guard was putting massive pressure on the assembly to select him.
We cannot expect from him any compromise in terms of giving up on the nuclear issue, showing weakness on the way Iran now conducts its war against the United States and Israel.
In terms of the domestic welfare of the Iranian people, Mojtaba shares his father's ultra-conservative interpretation of Islamic law, and he may have actually been responsible for some of the IRGC's extremely violent crackdowns against protesters in decades past.
President Trump is delusional, especially when Trump calls for regime change. It basically justified the brutality of the regime's response to protesters.
For better or for worse, regime change or even just significant reform was always going to be a steep uphill battle for the Iranian people. But you have to ask, was it more likely before or after the bombs hit the Supreme Leader's compound?
I just feel like it was unnecessary, and it was like it shook up on Iran side, Israel side, US side, China, North Korea, all these different allies, and it's like you did too much. And I don't understand what they didn't understand, that these people got this stuff set up, plot up, like they know. So they expect, they like kamikazes, like, so they already know at some point, you live by the sword, you die by the sword type of action. And that they're not gonna have their ducks in order and their stuff in a row to where their power don't minimize. It just escalates more and more tension and more anger and hatred. And it's like, for what?
You motherfuckers. You motherfuckers. I just figured this whole shit out. So if physically the earth is made up of the same exact elements as us, that means energetically earth is Gaia. Gaia meaning a living system that produces energy, magnetic fields, and vibrations that life respond to. Stick with me. That means spiritually, Earth is a school, a training ground for consciousness. Stick with me. You motherfuckers. If my body is a microcosm and my DNA resonates with the Earth's energy, that means DNA is the code of life. DNA is the code of life, and Earth is the vibrational system supporting life. And when your DNA and Earth is aligned in sync, your health improves. Your energy flows better. Earth gave your DNA raw material and the vibration to operate at full potential. So you're not just floating meat on a rock. You are literally coded to Earth. This is why I teach how to charge your mind and body so you can ground back with the Earth, and how to structure your water at home so you can tune your internal God to the planet's frequency.
I would like to learn more about structuring your water at home and how to do all that. But I also agree, and I feel like alignment is important just in life, period. Like you have to be in alignment with your purpose, your path, your spirituality, one within yourself, before you can be in alignment with others, and before you can vibrationally flow at a higher timeline. So I agree. I completely agree. And I do believe that they lied about everything, because why would I tell you who you are and how you can overcome? And if I tell you who you are and the power in which you have, then you have the ability to become all that you have been called to be. But if I hide that from you, then you don't know. And guess where we at? Where we at now?
Hey, what happened to Jim Carrey, man? You see that fool, yo? Yeah, they saying he ain't himself no more, man. They saying they got Jim. He do look different though, I ain't gonna lie. What it seems like to me is the real Jim Carrey got a little bit ahead of himself. He got a little out of control. He was talking too much, so they had to snatch him. And they had to put their Jim Carrey in his place so that he can give out the right message that they want people to hear. But don't quote me on that, because I don't want them to snatch me and give y'all a fake me. Oh, look at that. That's crazy. You see that?
What y'all think? Take this piece off here, and put it over here. And now you see, the United States is no longer in the middle of the map. Right. Now I did this with a major record company in New York City, I think in 1970. And an older man stood up in the back of the room and said, "Now Elliot, you've gone too far." I said, "What's your problem?" "You can't do that with the map." I said, "Well, actually you can." He said, "No, the United States isn't in the middle of the map anymore." I said, "The United States never was in the middle of the map. You need to realize this depends on how you draw your map." And then I pointed this little fact out to him. South America is actually 9 times larger than Greenland. Even though it doesn't really look like it. No, it is! South America is actually 9 times larger than Greenland. It's crazy. Now, according to your social studies teachers, what is the equator? Halfway between the North Pole and the South Pole on this map would be right about here. Right. And that means that Iowa has a semi-tropical climate. Well, you've been in Minnesota in the wintertime. I've been in Iowa too. It's definitely it doesn't have a tropical climate. So you have to then introduce a real version of the map of the world. That's what this is doing. That's very good. The Peters projection map. The sizes on this map are right. The shapes are distorted. Look at Greenland on this map. Right there. See it? Yeah, it's really tiny. See how small that is? Right. Look at it on the Mercator projection. So why do they do that? I don't understand. Why? Because the Pope commissioned Mercator to make a map that shows the spread of Christianity. So all the countries in which there are predominantly white people are larger than those in the southern part of the world, halfway between the North Pole and South Pole. Now, if you have children going to school and they're seeing this map. I love Jane Elliott. I'll never forget in college I had to do a project on her blue eye, green eye experiment. And I just encourage you guys to go look into her and the things that she said in her seminars and everything, because she's very knowledgeable and I love her. I love the things that I agree.
No matter what, they're always going to tell you the truth, even if it's through other people. The Shade Frost goes on and says that he had a dream or predictive programming that Kai Cenat is cloned. Remember, he looks different, he talks different, he acts different. They going deeper, saying that he might be in Antarctica getting cloned. Listen to this.
Kai was a clone, bro. You had a dream Kai was a clone? Yeah, I had a dream he was a clone, and then Kai was under like a we were just talking, but like under, and I was going somewhere, he was underground, like he was locked up, like the old him was locked up, like screaming and shit. I swear to God, bro, it was hella weird. It was hella weird. Kai just texted me and said, "I'm underwater, my network is off, I'm in the ocean, I'm on the way to Antarctica."
tell you the truth, whether they use another person or not. But the fact of the matter is, whenever these people are about to be cloned, a new narrative comes out. You guys see them looking brand new, y'all think it's them. No, it's literally someone else in that body. And guys like the Shay Frost and Rakai, they're being used in order to get this message across from you guys. But something is going on in Antarctica. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Let's continue to get this shit, y'all. Peace and
I think. I will say that he does look a lot different and he's, changed, but it's an eerie, like a change. It's not like okay, he started growing up. It's just an eerie, something just don't seem right.
Putting in our bread to make it like a sponge.
It's 3 a.m. and I just went down a rabbit hole. This food ain't real. This food is not real. This is bread. Mind you, I'm watching videos, so I remember that I had some buns in my pantry that I hadn't gotten rid of because I wanted some turkey burgers one day and I never used the rest of the buns. And I'm like, I know they should have maybe expired like December. It's January 7th. Y'all, this is the bread that should be expired.
Like a sponge.
It should be molding or molded at this point. Why am I wringing it out like a dry, like this ain't food. That's not food. Y'all, I'm traumatized and I don't know what I'm gonna do.
I got some buns. I'm gonna go do the experiment later on and I'm gonna figure it out because I want to see if mine do that.
This is so real. Oh my god. I had to post this. That's us. To everybody else above. Holy.
You done met up with Jaden. That's it. You know what this means, guys. You know what this means. Later, Kai. They almost got away with this picture, guys. What do you see? Look at Kai's hand. Look at Jaden's hand. You know what time is it. And this was before he switched up on us. And why is he walking around with a journal in his hand? He couldn't leave that in the car. Of course he couldn't. He's taking notes. Shut up! What's up with his eyes? You know what they say, guys. The eyes don't lie. And Kai looks disconnected. What happened to AMP? What happened to your peoples, bro? I wonder what they have to say about this. Or can they say something about this? Because I haven't heard none of them speak. And I know they feel the same way everybody else feels. This is the Kai that we know. The Kai that was streaming, having fun, doing this thing. Now he's all serious, taking pictures, holding journals. I mean, look at this picture, guys. Kai is smiling and Jaden looks really serious. Like, yeah, we got you now, Kai. Kai was the reason why people started streaming. What if him...
It's just like a blank stare. Like there's like nothing. Like it's just empty. I just hit my glasses, but empty. Like it's like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
They say every single holiday that we celebrate is celebrating one of the 7 deadly sins. Every single holiday. Okay. Think about it. So the easiest one, Valentine's Day, celebrates the sin of lust.
Okay.
Christmas celebrates, here, I'm gonna show you, bro.
Okay, let me see.
Check this.
Christmas.
There's a whole list.
This Christmas.
Okay, boom. Easy one. Ready? Valentine's Day represents lust for obvious reasons. Now, Thanksgiving, that celebrates the sin of gluttony.
Gluttony, yeah, because you're eating.
Because you're eating a lot. You're overeating. You're taking too much more than you need.
Yeah.
Now, Christmas, what do you think that is?
Christmas. Greed?
Greed. Yeah. Overconsumption and excess.
Okay.
Right? Wanting more of something.
That makes
We're
sense.
celebrating gifts. We're celebrating gifts. We're not really even celebrating like the birth of Christ because people are so focused on the gifts and shit. Now, Easter. This one's interesting.
I don't know.
The holiday of Easter, what sin would it be?
Easter? I don't know.
Check this out. This one gets deep.
Okay.
So they say it's envy because the Romans were jealous of Jesus, so they murdered him.
Oh,
it's crazy.
Shit.
So St. Patrick's Day, it's sloth. Because people get blacked out drunk.
Oh, what the fuck?
Now Halloween is what? It's wrath. So scaring and hurting people for fun with masks, it's wrath. So every single one of the holidays is like a 7 deadly sin. So
Isn't today St. Patty's Day? So it's a slothy day. I shouldn't be working. I should be slouching around. I can't. But I agree, and that's a very good analogy and breakdown. You guys tell me what you think.
So Iran is now openly claiming that members of the Epstein class are going to attack America. I'm just going to read this to you. This is an actual verifiable tweet from a man named Ali Larijani. And Ali is the secretary of the Supreme National Security Council of Iran. So he is one of the most powerful individuals in all of Iran. And he's extremely plugged into intelligence. So obviously he knows a thing or two about a thing or two. Now, keep in mind that this could be a lie. This could be propaganda. However, I am going to read this to you. And to the TikTok censors, this is verifiable information and a developing news story. So Ali tweeted, "I've heard that the remaining members of Epstein's network have devised a conspiracy to create an incident similar to," I'm just going to let you read that number because I don't want to get censored, "and blame Iran for it. Iran fundamentally opposes such terrorist schemes and has no war with the American people." So this is coming from this guy, one of the most powerful individuals in all of Iran. And as we know, Iran has been talking a lot about the Epstein files. And, Iran is actually mentioned in the Epstein files a number of times. So what do you make of this? I'm very curious to see what you guys think. And for Censors Online, this is reporting on a issue in the news. This is reported by mainstream media. This is independently verifiable. I don't know. I'm sorry I have to be overly cautious, but I have had 7 different videos taken down this week, and they don't give me a chance to appeal. So I do not want this to happen again with this video. So I'm being explicitly clear that this information is verifiable.
And I think that's probably why he was, unalived. Let's go to the next clip about him being unalive today.
Yeah, Todd Carley, good morning. We start with this breaking news. A senior Israeli official tells Fox News that top Iranian official Ali Larijani was targeted in a strike overnight. Larijani serves as the secretary to Iran's Supreme National Security Council. He was seen in the streets of Tehran as recently as Friday, walking during the Quds Day demonstrations. But he was considered the de facto leader of this country in the aftermath of the opening strikes of Operation Epic Fury. And so, again, a battle damage assessment is ongoing right now to determine if Larijani was killed, but this is a major development overnight, and it comes in parallel to other news we can report from a senior Israeli official indicating that more than a dozen Basij force commanders and officials were targeted in a separate strike against Iran overnight, including the top commander of the Basij forces, Gholam Reza Soleimani. This is the wing of the IRGC responsible for the crackdown on protesters, and again, a significant development. You see some video here overnight from northern Israel. Hezbollah, Iran's largest proxy in the region, continued its fight, launching rockets over the border, injuring at least 6 people in northern Israel. This was ongoing amid a lot of kinetic activity in the region overnight as the Iranians launched drones toward the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. One of those drones hit close to the compound. No injuries were reported there. The Israelis are striking back hard along with their U.S. counterparts, hitting a variety of targets over the past 24 hours across Iran. You can see some of the strikes in the video that we're about to show you here. The IDF releasing this video on Sunday. More strikes over the weekend. President Trump was asked yesterday by Fox's Peter Doocy about the efforts to go after Iran's missile and drone program along with the country's leadership. Here's what he had to say.
If Iran, as you said, totally obliterated, got the missiles, got the first 2 rounds of leadership, Air Force gone, Navy gone, can we wrap this war up this week?
Yeah, sure. Could.
Will we?
I don't think so, but it'll be soon. Won't be long. And we're going to have a much safer world when it's wrapped up. It'll be wrapped up soon. We're going to have a much safer world.
The Israelis looking to the east as this war continues, but they're also looking north to Lebanon. More strikes took place there over the weekend and last night, targeting Hezbollah positions across the country. This comes as IDF ground troops are marching into southern Lebanon as part of what they are calling defensive ground operation against Hezbollah. They are encouraging all civilians to evacuate north of the Litani River in an effort to get them out of harm's way as this fight develops. Now, a top spokesperson for the Israeli military spoke out about the effort to destroy Hezbollah in remarks overnight. We have prepared for this prolonged war. We anticipated that Hezbollah would open fire. I remind you that even before the campaign began, we had 5 outposts at the front of our communities along the northern border. Immediately with the start of the campaign, we strengthened the defense along the border for the northern communities in more than 15 different areas and have called up reserves in recent days. A lot of military activity across the region as Operation Epic Fury continues into the 3rd week. But again, the headline news today, Israel overnight targeting top Iranian official Ali Larijani, along with a separate strike that went after the structure of the besieged forces. Again, this speaks to the Amman intelligence agency in Israel and U.S. counterparts that are helping these fighter jets ahead of their flights over Iran to target individuals within the military structure of the Iranian regime and try to deplete the stockpile and the weapons that support this regime.
Wow.
Guys?
Yeah, Trey, my goodness, you are right. I mean, this is huge news about the targeting of Larijani because, as you said, he is considered the de facto leader in Iran with much more power than the president. He was very close to the Ayatollah Khamenei. I mean, my goodness, what are the chances that he could have been killed? And if so, how does that change the playing field?
We have to wait for the battle damage assessment to come in as to whether or not he was injured or killed. We know he was targeted in the strike overnight, but this is significant. And, you know, I've been talking with Israeli officials here for the past few weeks about this war as it develops. And the thing that we've heard time and time again is that they will hunt them down. That's how they've described it to Fox News in terms of going after these individuals who are responsible for not only supporting the proxies around the region, but the direct attacks against Israel that continued overnight. Sirens were sounding here in Tel Aviv once again amid incoming Iranian ballistic missiles. And so this is an effort to destroy the structure of the Iranian regime and go after the officials who sort of flaunted their ability to continue operating in Tehran, going to the streets without security and walking freely among the people, giving live television interviews on Friday, and again, targeted overnight, according to the official that we spoke with.
All right, Trey Yang's live for us in Israel with some pretty big news to report this morning. Trey, thank you so much. Now let's go to Steve Harrigan, who is live on the Iran-Armenia.
Number one, I know this isn't a funny topic, but when he said about the bombs in Baghdad, I thought about that song, Bombs Over Baghdad. Who sung that? I don't know. But do y'all think that this war will end soon? I don't know now. One war that they went into that they all said it was going to end soon, and it wasn't years. And it was confirmed before I started recording that he was unalive. I'm not sure if that was fake. I don't know. You don't know. But I do know that, shoot, if they bombed where he was at and he was in there. So, y'all, this is just a lot. But we're going to keep up on all these topics on the episodes of my show. My show. Isn't that funny? But on the episodes of my show coming up, because we're going to keep on top of a lot of topics. So everybody, we've made it to the end of the video. It was a little lengthy, but it wasn't as long as some as it could have been. This is a very informative video. We are going to, like I said before I came to my closing, we are going to definitely stay on top of this. Next video will be out next week. I have officially caught up. 3 videos in less than a week. Woo! I'm gonna get this one out to you guys by tomorrow. So that means I have a long day today, as usual. But I will have it out either tomorrow night. The latest would be Thursday morning, because I wanted to keep it in that week's time frame. But I'm not gonna hold you guys. I gotta get to Whole Foods. I actually finished about 20 minutes earlier than my projected, which is great. So let me go ahead and handle my business. I hope you guys have a fantastic St. Patty's Day, and I will see you guys on the next video. But until then, take care of yourself. Bye. Mwah. Mwah. Mwah.